Hi, everyone. Welcome to the It's Learning Remote Learning webinar series. This is webinar number 5 of our series for today. So if you have joined us for our other 4 webinars today, thank you for taking this very long journey with us today. But our webinars are designed to be very quick chunks of information. Hopefully small things that you can take back and immediately implement that will help you and your students on your remote learning journey these days. So please, I love the questions that we've had in the past webinars. Please keep those questions up. We would love to hear from you. Any question, doesn't matter what it is. We are going to talk in this webinar about adding videos and audio to resources. Adding video and audio resources to a lesson. And so we are going to do that in just a few moments. Before we get started, while everybody's still trying to log in, I want to just remind you once again that we have the It's Learning Remote Learning webinar website. We have the link to that website in the chat box. This website will show you our webinars that we have coming up. We are doing the same 5 webinar series again tomorrow, and then we will wrap up this webinar series and we will get started on planning the next one. So please make sure that you email us or let us know in the question box some topics that you would love to see for future webinars so that we can definitely meet your needs on that. So question box, please put your questions in the question box. Any feedback, I'd love to hear that as well. If you cannot attend one of our webinars or all of our webinars, please make sure that you just register for one, and we will follow up with you with a recording to all of these webinars. Whether you attend or whether you just register, you will get the link to all of the recorded webinars so you can watch them at your convenience. And if you have any questions, if you're watching the webinars for the first time or questions afterwards, please don't hesitate to email us at briefings@itslearning.com. So now that we have most everybody logged in, I think we're ready to begin our quick little introductory video, adding video and audio resources to lessons. We'll go ahead and start with the video, and then we'll come back and we'll dive into the live site and we'll take and answer your questions at that time.
Creating audio and video resources using the rich text editor. Today, we're going to demonstrate how to create audio and video resources utilizing the rich text editor. I'm going to demonstrate this from the Plans tool, but keep in mind, wherever you see the rich text editor in our system, you can create audio and video resources directly in the system. Let's start by navigating to the plan that we want to add the resource to. I go to the description box and click the pencil in the top right corner. This opens up the rich text editor. I want to add a video resource, so I click the camera icon. If this is your first time utilizing the system, you might have a pop-up window that asks you to allow access to your camera and microphone.
So all I did was hit record, and now I'm ready to record my video lesson. I do have these little earbuds with a microphone. I find that having a microphone and earbuds makes the sound a little bit better, but if you don't have it, it's okay. The It's Learning system will just use the internal microphone on your device. So when you're ready and you're done with your lesson, all you have to do is click stop, and then you'll save it and you're ready to give your students a video lesson.
Give your recording a title and click Save. Click Save on the rich text editor and you're ready to go. Now let's try adding an audio recording by clicking the microphone icon in the rich text editor. click Record Audio, and when you're ready, click Record.
And there's sometimes I don't need video, I just need audio. So I can do the same thing by just recording the microphone on my device and giving oral instructions to the students. Happy recording.
When you have finished recording, click Stop. Give your recording a title and click Save. Don't forget to click Save on the Rich Text Editor box. If you or your students view your lesson plans in table mode, these two recordings will look like icons. However, if you go to the list mode, you'll see the actual recordings in the lesson plan. Give your lesson plan a date, and your students will see your recorded audio and video resources along with your lesson plans on the overview page. Now you're ready to begin recording audio and video resources for your students.
All right, so I know that when we've done this webinar in the past, the first question is always about embedding video versus recording video. So I did want to go through that very quickly since the video did not go over that, but you can also embed a video. So if you have a video from your, just a second. So if you have a video like from your computer or something that you want to upload, what I suggest is to put that video in a cloud drive and then to link that or to get a embed code. Also, you can upload any of your videos to YouTube and put them on a private channel where you can just get an embed code or a link to embed as well. So that way you're not taking up the space on your computer. So if we want to find a YouTube video, see if we can find a good one today. All we have to do is find the video that we want, and we will get the share code. We'll see, even YouTube's not doing so hot today. So when I find a video, I'm sure everybody is aware that the share settings are at the bottom of the video. Well, this video.
Hi, I'm John Green. This is Crash Course.
This video does not have share settings. Wait. Yep. This video doesn't have share settings, so that's one thing you have to make sure that you understand is share settings. But typically, there's an arrow down here and there's share settings. You can always grab the embed code, and there are two different ways to do that. You can use by the URL, or the actual embed code can go to the source code, and then you can embed a video. And we have several other examples of that I can show you in a different course. So that's the difference in recording or embedding. So now we can take any questions that you might have about different types of video resources, how to do it, best practices, or any questions you might have. The floor is open. Just type those questions into your question box and we'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
Andrea, can you edit parts of the video if you make a mistake?
That is a great question. It is a one take. It is a one take because it is the idea behind this video, the internal video system is not to have to do a whole lot of stuff with it. So it's a one shot. If you wanted to edit something, you would definitely need to use a third-party video recording and editing software for sure.
Okay, here's a similar question. Is there a way to add our audio to a different video? I think that would be the same thing.
That's correct. Yeah, if you want to
Yep.
edit any part of the video or the audio, it would have to be done in the third-party software.
Can you record or link or embed a video as a resource to be added to plans or a learning path?
Yes, and you can do that in either one. So I can have a link. I actually have a link up here. This one is a link to a discovery education video. So I can take this link and you see I've just added it as a resource as a link. And so you can do that. You can do the same thing in plans. So when you open the rich text editor in plans, you can actually add the link right there as well. So you can add the link if you have it. If it's on a website or something, you can just add it to a link either to resources or directly into your plans, either one.
All right, I have a question here. If there's a third-party software that you would recommend.
Well, I hate to recommend anything because there are so many out there. I personally use Camtasia just because I'm most familiar with it and I've been utilizing it for years. But there's so many out there, and it really depends on whether you're on a PC or a Mac. And they can be, you know, if you're on a Mac, I mean, I used to use iMovie on my Mac. That was pretty simple. What I would caution you is to take a look at the options and the usability of the software. So make sure that it is not so complicated that it's going to take you hours and hours to learn how to use that. That's what I like about the softwares that I've utilized in the past is I could pretty much start using them within 15 or 20 minutes. I can get in and at least figure out the basics, right? So always try to get trials first before you pay for any software to make sure that it's a software that you can easily learn and begin utilizing right away. So I would do that. So there's lots out there, and just you know, just do an internet search for it and tons will come up. There are some free ones out there. I found out that some of the free ones are a little difficult, not so user friendly, but you might be definitely more well versed than I was in how to utilize some of those systems. So just do some research because it's really going to depend on you, what you're looking for, and your background knowledge.
What is the best practice for using Camtasia with its learning video?
So what I do with Camtasia is I actually, see if I can pull some up real quick. I link it to my Google Drive. So when I do my screen recordings or my castings or my videos, whatever it is, then I save them to my Google Drive and then I embed them as a link. So it's probably going to take a while because the video I was working on last time was kind of big, but I could, so if you link your Google Drive in Camtasia, you can automatically export that video to your Google Drive, and then it adds a link. And you can do that under the Share tab right here. You can add right here to Google Drive. If you want to send it directly to YouTube, you can do that as well, and it automatically uploads to your YouTube channel. I've done that for the videos that we've been using for these webinars. I've sent them straight to YouTube, put them on a private playlist, and then grab that embed code. Okay, Vimeo does the same thing. So you have lots of different options. You can also just export it to a file on your desktop. This is not what I recommend if you were going to take the video though and put it in It's Learning, because uploading a file into It's Learning is a little bit more difficult than embedding it from another type of host like YouTube or Google Drive.
Okay, Andrea, can you talk about different types of situations that a teacher can use or to insert audio, video to connect and engage students?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can add them as a resource, obviously, in this resource tab. If you add them as a resource over here, you'll want to, like I said, put them in a page or put them in a task or add them as a link. But I really like just putting them directly into the description box right here so that so that you can engage your students right off the bat. So you'll see, like in our lesson plans on our overview page, the first thing that comes up is the description. And so you'll see right here that the first thing the kids see is you can engage them in a video. It can be, especially in this day and time with remote learning, it could be something just as quick as, hi, welcome to today's lesson. Today we're going to be talking about, right? But I really feel that the kiddos being able to still see the teacher's face and hear her voices really keeps them engaged in the courses. So I like adding it to the description box because I feel like it really kicks the lesson off with a personal type of touch and really keeps the kiddos engaged to whatever resources are coming after that. So I put it in the description box.
Okay. Are you able to demonstrate linking a Vimeo video?
Let me see if I can find a Vimeo video, but it is the same way. Vimeo has those embed codes if the owner, let's see. If the owner allows embedding, here we go. And that's also another thing, right? The owner has to allow the embedding or the codes. So that's another thing to look for. If the embed codes aren't there, the share codes aren't there, then most of the time the owner doesn't allow that. So here's a Vimeo. You can get a link. So you would copy that link, and then I would come back into It's Learning. And because this is a link, not an embed code, we are going to use this button right here. Okay, it's going to ask you for the URL. Okay. And that one doesn't look like we allow embedding of our videos into other sites. So, but it would embed there. So see, that's why it depends on the owner and to whether or not they allow that to be embedded into other websites. So, but that's the process you would follow. And if they don't allow it, then obviously you would still have the link and they could click it and it would take you to the link, to the video. It would just open in a new tab.
Okay, Andrea, do you know if there's a file size limitation or video length or video resolution that's needed for these?
There is a file size limitation if you were uploading a video. That's why we always suggest using the embed or the source code. So it's only when you're uploading a file or a video. So if I were to come into the resources and I were to come here to file and I chose a video file like off of my computer to upload here, there is a file size here. Okay, so that's why we really recommend putting them in your Google Drive, your 365 Drive, putting them on a private playlist in YouTube, and then taking that embed code and putting it into the system.
We still have some time for additional questions, so feel free to type in your questions if there's something else that hasn't been answered at this point.
Let me see if I can find a better YouTube videos. So I didn't get a chance to actually demonstrate that. Let's see. Let's see if this one has the share code. There it is. That one's got a share code. So we go to share and you can do the URL. Okay, so if I were to do the URL right here, then that would be where I would add using the little kind of greater than, less than signs. Okay, put it down here. So I would, if I'm grabbing the URL, I use that symbol right there. Don't forget to click save again. Okay, and then you can see if we transition to the other mode, we'll be able to see the video there. Okay, or if that video, you could also grab what's called the embed code. And this gives you the iframe that looks more like HTML coding. You can copy that. If I have that type of a code, oops, sorry, then I'm going to use the other button when embedding. I'm going to use the source code. So the source button, see how it looks like HTML coding? That's the source code. So if I have an embed code for a video that starts like with this iframe and it has these little chevrons, that's the source code. If I just want to do it from the URL, then I can grab the URL and I use the other button. So there's two different ways to embed depending on which code you get from the video. So this is the way that we really suggest adding videos as opposed to having them in a file and uploading them as a file. Because if you upload them as a file, depending on the file size of the video, it might not come through because there are file size limitations. I just can't remember what they are, but there are limitations. And then it could be depending on the internet speed you have or your device, it could take quite some time to upload those videos. So embedding them using the source code or the link is the URL link is definitely the way we suggest if you're not going to create your own.
Okay. Andrea, can you explain what happens if students create videos in a project and want to share them?
So yeah, I think students obviously have exactly the same options you do. If you have an assignment and they go to answer an assignment, they have the rich text editor, they could use that camera button directly in that rich text editor. They would just have to record their project in one take. Okay. If they don't and they are utilizing some other kind of software or third-party recording thing, I don't know, maybe all of our kids have to do TikToks these days or something, then typically there's, again, a URL for that video. Your students, if they have Google accounts, they automatically have YouTube accounts and they can upload those as a private video so that nobody can see it. It's just you can only access that video through the URL. So that's what I would suggest if they don't have kind of like a place to put them. But you can also put them in a Google Drive. Your Google Drive will fill up, you know, after about 10 videos or so. So they have exactly the same options that we just described for you. And so I would just pick which one works best with your kiddos. A lot of times kiddos are going to give us great ideas on how to do this too, because they definitely know a lot about creating videos these days.
Andrea, we have another question about video conferencing within its learning. Can you answer that?
Absolutely. So we do have an internal video conferencing system. It is one of the resources that we can add. And it's down here, the video conferencing system. Most of the time is 25, I believe, or I think it's 10 video, but we can increase it to 25 if you need to. And then you just give it a title, a description. You can even add a standard. So again, if you are, oh, there it is. I'm sorry. It is 25 maximum participants and then 50 in a chat base. If you are having tutorials on a specific learning objective, you can add that to a standard and it will come up on some of our follow-ups of reports. So all you have to do, give it a time span. I definitely suggest giving it a time span, because if you don't and you just say that this is active right now, kiddos can log on to this without the teacher logging on first. Okay, so either make it inactive or give it a time span. And that way you don't have to worry about your kiddos jumping on before you do. So that is my one kind of little word of wisdom there when it comes to the video conferencing tool.
We have another question. It sounds like YouTube provides much more storage at no cost than other cloud storage. Is that correct?
That's what I found. Yes, absolutely. That's why I kind of put all of my stuff, particularly if I'm working in Camtasia, I usually send it directly to YouTube in a private playlist because I don't want people to be able to search and find my videos. So I put everything on YouTube in a private playlist, and that seems to work for me.
Okay, Andrea, what is the difference between conference and chat?
Well, conference, you have the ability to do two different types of conferences. You can have a video conference, or you can just have a text-based chat. So for example, if we click the conference with video, it's going to be kind of like what we're doing today. You're going to be able to turn your camera on and kind of see all your students and talk to them. If you choose the bottom one, it's just going to be almost like a discussion board. You're just going to be able to chat and text and type questions back and answers back and forth. So there's two different types of conferences, with video or without video and just texting. So those are your two different options.
Okay. My conference says that there is a 10 participant max. Is there a way that I can increase that number of participants?
Yeah, so that's a site setting, and what we would need to do is just, if you would email briefings@itslearning.com, we can get that changed for you.
A question here, when will we get the link to the webinars? They are already up on YouTube, and the link will come to you tomorrow in an email, but I can put it in the chat right now.
The one thing I want to caution about increasing from 10 video participants to 25 is some districts have that limited to 10 based on internal bandwidth. So if you increase and you have 25 students on your video chat, you might start getting some interference, and that could be based on your district's bandwidth or your internet bandwidth. So a lot of times districts specifically choose to turn that down to 10. So we would need to obviously get permission from the district to increase that. Most districts at this time are taking, the necessary needs to increase the bandwidth and don't have a problem increasing the chat to 25, but we would definitely need to work with your district administrators on that decision.
Andrea, what does it mean 4 viewing panels? I'm not sure.
So you could have, you'll have 25 participants, but you'll have 4 people in the viewing screen. And then when somebody talks, they'll jump in and take one of those people's place. So you'll only be able to see 4 videos at a time, even though 25 participants have the option of showing their video. You're only going to see 4 students at a time.
Is there ever an issue with a large number of students watching the same video concurrently? And can they pause the video and answer questions in an assignment, such as a Google Doc, and then resume the video without losing their place?
So absolutely, you can certainly have questions in a file. So kiddos could have the file of questions open in one window, and they can watch the video in another window. And I just read an article the other day of how to do that in Google Forms. So that's kind of interesting. And then there's also lots of other free educational resources that allow you to kind of take the video and pause them and insert questions. And then you can take that link and put it into It's Learning. So there's lots of different ways we can do that. But without getting too complicated, that's exactly what I would do. I would take an assignment, and I would have the video in the description part of the assignment. And then, so up here, in the description of the video is where I would add the video. And then I would add a file right here. Maybe you could add a make a copy file. So the students, and because when you do a make a copy, you have the questions, they type in the answers, it opens in a new window. They could see those windows side by side, so they could play it over here and then answer questions over here. So that's the way I would do it. I would add the video up here in the description of the assignment, and then have the kiddos have a make a copy from a Google Doc or a 365 doc or something like that.
All right, we have one last question, and then our time is up. Andrea, I see that Zoom can be integrated as an LTI tool. How does that differ from its learning conference?
So Zoom has the ability to be able to see more video panes. As we discussed a second ago, you can have 25 people on a video chat, but you're only seeing 4 video cameras at one time. Zoom has the ability to see much more than that. We also are working on an integration with Microsoft Teams, which Teams is very much like Skype. So it'll have the video conferencing as well. The integration will be coming out in the next, from what I understand, 24, 48 hours. And then on your box up here, you will actually have a little button that says integrate Zoom or integrate Microsoft Teams. We'll need to work with the districts to kind of make sure that we're attaching the correct one, but they'll actually just be able to be added directly into that description box and that rich text editor. And so we are working on additional video conferencing integration, and that will be done very soon.
Okay, I think our time is up.
Our time is up. I am sorry if I did not get to all the questions. I think I did, though. If for some reason there are additional questions, please do not hesitate to email briefings@itslearning.com. And if you still have additional questions, we'll be doing this once again tomorrow, all 5 webinars. So you can join us again tomorrow or email us any additional questions. For now, thank you very much for joining us. We are out of time, and I hope everyone stays safe and happy, and we'll talk to you soon.